Hello everyone and welcome to Galaxy 89 Cars. Today, thanks to EV Hire, I'm able to give you an in-depth tour of a Tesla Model X P100D with Ludicrous Mode. For all your performance electric car vehicle hire needs, please use the link in my bio to visit EV Hire directly. The Model X is a four-wheel drive, all-electric SUV. It comes in three guises in the UK, the 75D, 100D and 100D Ludicrous, with the model here being the latter. The muzzle designations refer to the battery kilowatt-hour capacity. It is claimed by Tesla to be the most aerodynamic SUV in production, with a drag coefficient 20% lower than its nearest rival. It is powered by a 100 kWh lithium-ion battery that is able to provide up to 336 miles of range on a single charge in this model, but 351 miles in the standard 100D. This battery drives power to a front and rear motor with the entire system known as dual motor all-wheel drive. This model, the P100D with Ludicrous Mode, produces 611 brake horsepower and can reach 62 miles per hour or 100 kilometers per hour in 2.9 seconds. For a vehicle weighing 2.5 tons, that's very impressive performance. The car sits on 20-inch front and back, silver slipstream wheels, although 22-inch alloys are available. On this P100D Ludicrous variant, the car comes with 4-piston Brembo performance brakes. The car is also fitted with an intelligent regenerative braking system that only functions below around 90% charge. Very crudely, when the brake is depressed, the kinetic energy created is transduced into electrical potential energy, which is then stored in the battery. This effect is said to be very noticeable in the Model X, with a stiffened brake feel. Now I've finished the model overview, let's now start our exterior tour from front to back. One of the most notable omissions here is the lack of a central front air intake. However, there are two small openings at the top and bottom for the radiators, but nothing else. On either side of the front plate, we find a few of the front sensors from the sensor array. The design at either side consists of flowing lines that come together centrally. On the outside edge is a day-running light LED strip with a further sensor and sonar component. Above is a small slit to allow cool air to access the front-mounted radiators. These help to cool the car as electrical components and a 100 kilowatt battery can generate a lot of heat. On either side are the bi-xenon headlamps with their LED strip day-running lights. Moving back, we reach the unavoidable windscreen, which is currently the largest panoramic windscreen in production. I'll show you the inside-out view later in the video. Now moving down to the side, we find one of the car's rear-facing cameras, which help to facilitate its self-drive and autopilot function. Tesla's notorious autopilot has seen upgrades in the Model X. The camera system has gone from 1 to 4 cameras. There are also 12 ultrasonic sonar sensors, which, when paired with its onboard computer that can now process information 40 times faster than before, makes for an impressive and often unnerving system capable of parking itself and being summoned from a nearby parking area. There is a separate self-drive function which has also been upgraded, with the most notable upgrade being the doubling in cameras from 4 to 8. This system is designed to conduct both long and short trips with no input from the driver. Above are the electrically adjustable and folding wing mirrors with a new forward-facing camera in the door pillar. There are dynamic sweeping aesthetic lines running along the midline and side skirt area that help to create more flowing aesthetic. Unlike the Model S, the door handles do not slide out to present themselves to the driver. I will demonstrate their functionality later in the video. Moving back, there is another aesthetic line that joins on from the one in the midline. It runs over the rear arches. Just behind and above this is the car's rear wing, which rises on 2 legs when the car is activated and returns when the car is locked. It actively contributes to the aerodynamic performance and comes with an integrated brake light. Below and on either side are the main brake, reverse and indicator LED lights. They wrap around the side of the vehicle, providing increased visibility to other road users. On the left side is the charge input socket. Centrally, there is a lone Tesla logo with a chrome boot strip underneath. This carries the car's reversing camera. Moving down, there are more model designations on either side, with the extensive sensor array running along the rear bumper. There are 2 small reflectors below, with a modest diffuser to manage undercar airflow. Now we've finished our exterior tour, let's move inside. The key in the Model X is one of the most advanced I have ever seen. There are button strips along each side which can open the front boot, falcon doors and rear boot. With 3 presses to the top of the key, all doors then automatically close. To aid closing, all doors are fitted with a soft close function. As this car has the premium pack, the front doors are self-presenting. After a simple depress at the handle, the door opens itself to the driver or passenger. The interior here is finished in white and black leather with gloss carbon fibre, aluminium and piano black inlays. It's also possible to spec cream leather and wood inlays. As there's no formal interior POV tour here, I'll start my interior tour with the doors. The flat top leather section becomes angular as we move forward. Below, the carbon strip with its buckle can act as a door handle, although one isn't strictly needed. The door release comes after. Below, the armrest is integrated into the white leather padding with buttons for the electric windows, mirrors and lock further forward. There is a large storage area below that extends backwards into the door panel. Any product from Tesla has a real focus on ergonomics, and that's no different with the Model X. It's a surprisingly large vehicle, but egress and ingress is very easy. It has a fairly minimalist interior design with no buttons or latches on the driver's side. These are on the key or stalks behind the wheel. To the right of the wheel is a carbon insert and first air vent. To close the door, simply pull the door release once and the door will automatically close. Moving inside, the wheel itself is also fairly minimalistic, with a central design reflecting the Tesla logo. The information screen ahead displays, amongst many other things, the car's status, such as which door is open. On each side of the wheel is a scroll wheel that can be depressed for the driver's screen. In addition, there are also integrated buttons above and below, these controlling media options on the left, with talk and further functions on the right. The left and right screens can be customized, but here they are currently displaying, on the left, watt-hour battery usage with average, range and temperature below, and car status centrally. Using the scroll wheel, we can cycle through the different options on the right side: clock, media, energy usage graph, trip screen, car status with tyre pressure and cool settings. The button below offers controls to adjust temperature, fan speed, brightness, call records, and phone book. The left portion offers largely the same options, with navigation being the only addition. Above, the dash is a minimalistic and clean blend of leather and Alcantara, with a breathtaking windscreen, the largest currently in production, running up to just behind the front occupants. As we begin to move more centrally, we find the next manually adjustable air vent with a button for hazard lights below. Now we move to one of the most dominant features in any Tesla, the 17-inch HD screen. This screen replaces the buttons, scroll wheels, etc. that are found in most cars. It is a fully integrated and actually very responsive system. There are quite a lot of different menus and options available here, and I'll try to go through them one by one. There are options above the main menu line, but I will start with the radio. FM and DAB channels can be reached. The large channel list can be easily scrolled through. Owners also get their own Spotify account, although owners can use their own private account. This is all very easy to work through after a little loading time. The tune-in service is next, which offers a similar music service, with media connectivity via mobile phone last. Next is the Nab menu. This can either be viewed in half or full screen, with a little button in the left corner offering controls for this option. It relies on typical pinch or spread motions to zoom out or in, with the ability to orient the map. The red icons display the Tesla supercharger network. Each can be clicked on and navigated to. The navigation system will also automatically schedule a supercharger stop into your route if your car's projected range won't be sufficient. There is also predicted remaining range and time at the end of the journey summary. Up to 170 miles of range can be added to the car from just 30 minutes of charging at one of these stations. The next option available is the calendar. which can be synced with your mobile device to give you up-to-date information on your schedule. After this is a larger screen displaying energy usage and range information. The browser is next, which can be used just like a PC, smartphone or tablet. After this, there is an option to activate the reversing camera. All of these screens can be flipped and resized using the same button I showed you earlier. The menu for phone connectivity, calls, messaging, etc. is last. Above these menu options are a few smaller icons. The first shows controls for charging limit, current, and charging schedule. The other icons show general car information, such as the VIN number. There is also a selection of controls below. These are for volume, seat heating or ventilation, dual zone temperature with passenger on the left and driver on the right, and rear and front demist with an on-off centrally. There is a medical grade HEPA filter installed in the front of the car that can apparently filter down to the viral level, with the most extreme setting named to bioweapon defense mode. The button furthest right allows us to access the controls option screen. A variety of functions can be performed here. Each door can be opened or closed. The front and middle seats can be independently moved forward or back. Additionally, suspension settings can be adjusted. In the driving screen, the steering feel can be made more direct or relaxed by cycling through Comfort, Standard and Sport. In acceleration, we can access the notorious Ludicrous Mode. This turns the car into a performance-oriented vehicle with usable full power output and instant torque. To access, simply depress the button for 5 seconds until the hyperspace-esque display appears, then accept the comical message. This accesses full battery power and initiates the power system warming cycle that's needed to stop the powertrain from damage at its level of use. A small purple line appears on the driver's screen energy usage display that indicates how long the warming cycle will take. However, let's go back to Sport, as unfortunately we aren't going to use Ludicrous Mode. Moving back to the options screen, there are additional controls for the creep function, traction control, standard or low regenerative braking that changes the pedal feel and responsiveness, range modes for longer trips, and trailer mode for when the car is required to tow a trailer. Next, it is possible to independently control each seat's heating and ventilation functions, in addition to the heated steering wheel. Next is a general trip information screen, then a display mode and management screen, and e-brake and gear selection instructions. In settings, we can access the car's autopilot, auto lane change, auto park, lane assist, speed assist that has the ability to limit the car's speed, and finally the collision avoidance system with auto braking if the car feels a collision is imminent. Directly under the large screen is a small storage area. Further along the central column is a carbon-topped compartment with dual cup holders. Just behind this is another enclosed storage area, this time with connectivity options and the 12-volt socket. Above are leather upholstered armrests for the driver and passenger. These can slide back to reveal further cup holders. This configuration can also be specified in the middle set of seats. Moving back from these, we can take a brief look back into the rest of the interior space. Before we move into these, let's take a look at the seats. The leather electrically adjustable seats are also heated and ventilated as mentioned before. They feel quite large and are comfortable. Movement controls are found on the side. Moving back up to the central screen, there is another air vent with the glove compartment to its left. A small button just under this air vent can be used to open the glove compartment. It's illuminated and is quite wide in comparison to others I have seen. It can be closed manually only. To open the door, give the handle a swift pull and watch as it opens automatically. To move into the rear seats, we can either depress the handle on the door or the right segment on the key. The Falcon doors on the Model X are one of its signatures. They are filled with sensors and raised from the top of the car and have a flex point. This enables them to actively assess and adjust to their surroundings, opening up at a sharper angle in limited space. The rear seats are the same as those in the front and seem to hover due to their placement on moving racks. Unsurprisingly, there is a lot of inbuilt functionality. Buttons on the shoulder enable these seats to be moved forward or back with the front seats, providing more room to move to the rear. The owner of this car has decided to go for the 6-seat configuration, but a 7-seat is possible. There are further cup holders in the rear. As we move into the middle seats, we can look up to find more glass. Used in the top segment of the Falcon doors, this helps to further the light, spacious interior feeling. Now sitting in the middle seats, we find the Falcon door release close button and a slim air vent. There's lots of glass above with the Model X designation. Looking around, we can see how spacious the cabin feels. To close the doors, simply depress the button on the right here. Centrally, there are 2 air vents with USB inputs underneath, in addition to 2 further concealed cup holders. Now we've had a good look at the interior space, let's take a look at the Model X's main storage. Once outside, the Falcon doors can be closed by depressing the red button on the underside, or by 3 clicks on top of the key, or 2 on the corresponding side. The rear boot, which can be opened by depressing the rear of the key, offers quite a deep boot space with a removable shelf. The rear seats can be laid flat by depressing the small button on the side and then pushing forward. With the seats down, the rear can offer up to 2,180 litres of storage space. Just like with the Falcon doors, the boot door can be closed by depressing a small button on the underside, or the key. Moving around to the front of the Model X, there's also a front storage compartment, or frunk. It can be unlatched by depressing the front of the key twice. The front boot offers 187 litres of boot space, and is also where you can top up the wiper fluid. It's strange not to see any other type of fluid pots here. At the front, in red, there's also a first aid kit. Moving back inside briefly, we can see the most innovative sun visors I have ever seen. They are magnetically locked to the top pillar until they are needed. They are detached easily and can then be swung round to the awaiting magnet. There's an extendable segment with a small magnetic sheet underneath that pulls over to reveal an illuminated vanity mirror. Once finished with, they can be easily reattached to the side via the magnet. So that concludes my tour of the remarkable Tesla Model X. Once again, a big thanks to EV Hive for the opportunity. All their details in the description below, so please check them out. Please subscribe for the latest content, and until next time, thanks for watching.